You know what? I'm loving so many people are here this morning.
Yeah.
Love that.
Because some conversations I have with people and they're like, oh, really? That really happened to you? I'm like, what bubble are you living in?
It actually doesn't have a positive effect on the body.
They know that they don't know and still won't go out and find the information.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Oh, I got something on my mouth here. I don't like that. Okay, that's better. And I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And since 2020, we've reached out, our team there, directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. Actually, I've got an announcement about that coming up, but I don't know when I'm going to give it to you. But there is a good thing going on with that, but we'll keep it under covers. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And we are broadcasting live on Valentine's Day. You know, I feel there's something on my lower lip here. Let me do this. That's better. Want to look proper. Present myself right on the screen, on the monitors and on the screens here. Actually, interesting thing. Just before as we just warm up here, I looked at my stats, and the majority of people watch the Dr. Vibe Show and what I do via their phone. Believe it or not, that's the device they watch more. Phone than desktop, laptop, but phone is where they view most of the stuff content I put out. So that is interesting. And Valentine's Day, are you getting a Valentine? Are you sending out a Valentine? Are you being someone's secret Valentine? I'd love to know. Are you getting something today on Friday, February 14th? Well, as I said, this week has been crazy. We in Toronto got hit by a ridiculous snowstorm on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Yesterday, I got up. I said, oh, got to shovel the snow. So I made sure I brought up my snowblower for the first time this holiday season, this winter season. Brought out the snowblower, getting ready, putting on my clothes. Said, okay, here's like a half an hour, 45 minutes, etc. Go outside, and I saw that my next door neighbor, who has a gas-powered snowblower, took care of 2/3 of my driveway. What a blessing. So that's one reason you should treat people good in Canada. When the snow comes, if you have a wonderful neighbor, he just took care. He said, oh, I would have done more if you would have cleared out some of your cars. Say, hey, you did more than enough. But I spent about half an hour, 45 minutes just cleaning up stuff. The crazy thing is we're getting more snow tomorrow and Sunday. So it's just like crazy. So good for those who celebrate Valentine's Day. Make it count today, because tomorrow and Sunday, So we'll see what happens. Oh, we got comments flying in already. Good morning, Fitness IQ Cam. Morning. She says, yep, literally snowed in Toronto. Better pull up. Yeah, this is going to be quite an interesting weekend. My suggestion is, if you're in the greater Toronto area and a lot of North America, especially the eastern half, get whatever you can get done today on February 14th, including your Valentine's Day stuff, because Saturday and Sunday ain't looking pretty. All right. And she says, wow, 2/3. Nice neighbor. Yeah. Well, we're really good. There's a really good family that lives next door to my left. They are really good people. Wonderful, wonderful families. So I'm really happy for them. All right, we've got people in the room. So, hey, feel free, especially if you're watching live, to tell us where you're chiming in from this morning, and we'll shout you out. Pop quiz. Something turns 20 years old today. Now, that's real good, Koo. 20 years. Okay. There's an online website that turns 20 years old today. I'm going to start dropping some clues and see if anyone knows what it is. There's an online website today that was discovered or created 20 years ago. Good morning, JJ Mars from Colorado. Good to have you already. Good to have you. How are things in Colorado? Did you get hit with a bunch of snow? Because we got hit this past Wednesday evening and Thursday morning, and we're getting more this weekend. Always a pleasure to see you. Okay, I'm giving clues here. Good morning. Google, you're close. The Macmillan Group is close. You're close. Google owns this website. So let's see if you get it now. Google Finance IQ says Google. No. Actually, Google bought this website. Okay, JJ Mars says we got a little snow. Fitness IQ is right. YouTube. Yes, YouTube was founded on February 14th, 2005 by Steve Chen, Chad Hurley, and Jawad Karim, all former employees of the online payment system PayPal. So they were former employees of PayPal. So let me just read a bit for you. The three friends opened up the first YouTube headquarters above a pizza restaurant in San Mateo, California. The first YouTube video was published on the 23rd of April, 2005. It was a 19-second clip called Me at the Zoo, posted by co-founder Jawad Karim. The video shows Jawad standing in front of some elephants at the San Diego Zoo and has been viewed over 300 million times to date. Also, some interesting facts. How many videos are on YouTube? YouTube doesn't publicly disclose the number of videos on the platform, but 2023 research by the Atlantic, this is 2023, estimates there are 14 billion publicly viewable videos on YouTube. According to the news report from 2006, YouTube had 34 million monthly visitors who watch an average of 100 million videos a day. However, this has increased over the last 20 years. Yeah, go figure. Research suggests that the site now has over 2.5 billion active users, which watch around 5 billion YouTube videos a day. It's grown massively in popularity amongst young people since it was monitored. Like say now, it's let's say 12 to 15-year-olds, 80% of them watch YouTube, are on YouTube. Now, here's the next pop quiz. What is the most viewed site? No, not viewed site. What's the most viewed video on YouTube? Any guesses? What's the most viewed video on YouTube? Let's read some more comments while I see one takes some questions. So Fitness IQ goes, why? She's happy she got it. The Milan Group goes, what percentage watch on their phone in relation to their desktop? We'll talk about that offline, Ray. I'd have to dig in my analytics, but it actually is not too much of a spread. I'd say around 45% watch my content on phone, and I'd say about 30 to 39 watch on desktop, laptop. Okay, Fitness IQ goes, where's my prize there? My time is your prize. And she goes, LOL, kidding. And then, good morning, Roger Dundas. It is so good to have my man, Roger Dundas, in the house. Him and his beautiful wife, his beautiful queen, Camille, are the power behind buyblacks.com, Black Canada's #1 online magazine. Anyone guess the #1 viewed video? Okay, also this. Wayne Harris, happy send money on my partner based on social convention day. Harris, you are so incorrect, but in some ways, you're right. Based on social convention. Well, there you go. Good to have. Anyone going to guess what's the most viewed website? What I keep on saying, what's the most viewed video on YouTube? Any answers? So Macmillan Group says a Selena Gomez video. No. JJ Mars says YouTube changed how many Black people view the news. Yes, very true. Oh, our producer got it right. Did you cheat though, producer? I want to know if you cheated. Okay, let's see if anyone else says. Fitness IQ says she has no clue. Okay, the Fitness IQ says no clue. She also says MJ, no. And JJ Mars says clueless. Okay, the most viewed video on YouTube is the baby shark dance with over 15 billion views. Other popular videos on the site include Despacito by Luis Fonsi, which has more than 8 billion views. Don't know about it. Shape of You by Ed Sheeran has more than 6 billion views. And Roar by Katy Perry has more than 4 billion views. So the most, who has the most subscribers on YouTube? American YouTuber Mr. Beast, aka Jimmy Donaldson, has the most subscribed channel on YouTube with more than 360 million subscribers. Mr. Beast is also reported the highest paid creator on the site, with the Forbes Rich List estimated that he earned $85 billion in 2024. So one of the reasons that Mr. Beast may have become so popular is due to algorithms, our favorite word in digital content, which help decide the kind of content we see when scrolling through the platform. If we like, share, subscribe, or comment on content that we're likely to be shown similar content in the future. However, Mr. Beast has said that creators should, quote, just make videos people want to watch, unquote, rather than focusing on trying to, quote, game, unquote, the algorithm. There you go. There we go. So a little factoid today. All right. We're going to go to a break. And when we come back, we're going to have a friend who has not been on for a while, but we're going to be talking about some labor market statistics for Canada, especially Black Canada, coming up. So we'll be back in 30 seconds on the Morning Vibe. Black Canada Talking, where Black Canadians give their takes, POVs, and insights on local, provincial, national, international conversations. Cesar Nadima Musa. What is up, Cesar?
Hi, Dr. Vibe. Thanks for having me. And it jeopardizes your ability to sustain yourself financially.
40 programs have been suspended due to the drop in revenue.
We see this happening over and over again throughout history.
What does that tell you about America? We are back. The Morning Vibe, February 14th, Valentine's Day. It's without Ryan Knight today, but he's with us in spirit. So before we get started on our conversation and our friend, hanging out with our friend today, first of all, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you want to join our Discord group, please feel free to email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, again, email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And finally, do not forget Indie Soup TV, Indie Soup Media, which is an independent content creators platform started by my friend, Dr. Tachi, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I was speaking with her yesterday, and she said it was like 25 degrees Celsius down there yesterday. And I said, can you push some of it here, please and thank you? It'd be nice. It'd be nice. But she runs Indie Soup TV, which is the information there is on your screen, but it's independent content creators platform with about 30 independent content creators. And in 10 months of operation, it's about 23,000 YouTube subscribers, as we were talking about YouTube a few moments ago. So this is good. All right. So we have a returning friend today. We have not seen him for a while. Today, our guest is Dr. Justine Pierre, Director of Research and Labor Development, Market and Migration for Dunn Pierre, Barnett and Company, Canada Limited. He'll be talking about his organization's latest study, The Silent Subsidy, How Black Workers Finance Employees' Profits. Yes, we finance employees' profits. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Vibe. How are you today?
I am outstanding. How are you?
I'm great. I also want to say to my fellow listeners, thank you very much. It is a snow day today. Well, it was a snow day yesterday.
Yesterday and more coming up.
And more is on the weekend. I want to thank the audience for for you for having me on the show. And Friday we had a very good show, a good presentation of our data, and I hope we could enlighten some of the audience today about what we do in our company.
More comments. Got to catch up here. We got a lot going on. So Minnie on Cam says disability not profit sector both will send their proposal For similar projects, the white organization will get more funding than the black nonprofit organization. The discrimination is a virus. The food plane says, why didn't we learn these things in 5th, 6th, and 7th grade? It's almost like we are trained to be workers and not owners. So, well, that's the education system.
Yeah,
They teach you to be workers, not to be owners. They should teach in investing and how to start a business in school early on. Fact. Mignon Camp says to the food plane, we are brainwashed. It's also in what programs we approve to teach in schools. She also says to the food plane, the school is based on 2 things, industrial and agriculture. I think it's slowly changing. Summer's off to work on the farms or work in the factories. Food plane says, wow, good point, Minnie. And then she says to food plane, that business programs taught by professionals who never operated a business.
Right.
Also says Mignon Cam, the subject was my last college essay on psychological impact at work. Mignon Cam says, yes, I see that the women's only employment agency called Times Change. They've been operated for 50 years. And then Dr. Tachi has this. She is saying, wow, the comments are really flying. Currently, Black women are among the most educated in the U.S., but this is how they get us. The promise of having more education equals better pay and opportunities. And we pay exorbitant tuition, especially in the United States. It's exorbitant.
Yes.
Mignon Cam says this is why people are proposing universal basic income. Macmillan Group says it's time that Black folks realize that extensive education is no longer the key to income equalization. It hasn't worked in almost 4 decades. So time we put our heads together to make impactful change. You're thinking about that.
Yes. Yeah, and this is why we have to, we as Black people, we need to have a leader that can advocate for us. We need to.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you there. Leaders, not
leaders.
One leader.
Leaders, the leaders. We need leaders to that would kind of teach us and guide us, and because these things these things are so important, but yet it slips us. And the challenge we have, I said that was that because we live in a developed country, because we live in Canada, we somehow believe that we are developed, we are equal. So, for example, the guidelines that the government gives us, the mandate for growth, for the future development of Canada, etc., gives us, but it does not work for us because we are living in an enclave, and so we have to conduct our own research, and this is what is not being done. And we're asking persons, let's conduct our research. Let's start by conducting a labor market needs assessment, because the World Bank has more experience conducting and doing research on the Black population than the government of Canada. Because they have done, there are over a billion people that are Black people that do not live in Canada, so they have more experience. So take the message from them. As most other countries, when you develop, you conduct a labor market needs assessment. So the first thing that has to be done, according to the World Bank, is to conduct a labor market needs assessment. And this has not been done in the history of Canada. So we see where the problem is.
Okay, Althea has a question. Any suggestions on what we need to do for new Black graduates entering the workforce? We have to negotiate our salaries. However, entrepreneurship is an option that needs to be explored.
Yes, very, very good question. What we have to do, we depend on employers to employ us. We depend on employers of different, a group. Remember that ducks employ ducks. So so what we have to do, what we should do, I believe, is that we should have Black businesses have more profitable Black businesses. There are very few Black businesses that make over $50 million a year. And what we see that we have to have more of them. There is a little situation in the black industry in Canada, is that if you are a successful black person, in fact, the more successful you are as a black person, the more invisible you become. And this is something that has to change. Most black people who are in business are not in the public, because what happened? If you are known as a black business, most people would not do business with you. Okay, and we have seen that many of the black businesses that we interviewed, they have no black employees on the website, or no black faces on the website. And this is something that has to change. So the majority of persons you see on social media are persons that are dominated in the social sector, nonprofit. But business people is very difficult. It will be very rare that you see them in the public light, except maybe maybe West, with the Black North and Ali from TD Bank and a few other persons, but very rare you will see black, successful black black business people in the public light. And this is a challenge. There's also a lack of mentoring. We need mentoring. We also have
I'm gonna push back a little bit there. I say I don't think there's a lack of the right type of mentorship, qualified mentoring. You want people who have lived that story to be able to share that story.
Yes.
We have lots of mentorship out there. The question is it really good mentorship?
Yes.
All right. Next up, that this is a great conversation.
Sorry.
Bless you. The comment section is driving this conversation, which is absolutely. There's a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to get out of you. They're driving the ship. So Wayne Harris has a comment here. I've been selling and consulting for over 30 years, and I know that as a fact because I've known Wayne for over 30 years. I've sold to white and black buyers. Which ones do you think come with more objections to move a deal? Where do you think I was more successful?
I say from the data, okay? Just from the data. I'm blind, I'm a statistician, so generally we are the most hated person in any country. I'll say most objections come from the black people, and you buy. Most white people will buy from you.
I know that's the right answer. I know Wayne well enough that
is that so, Mr. Harris? Just from the data, okay? Because we do not support we do not support. Why we do not support each other? Okay, and we have to learn to support each other, because the biggest challenges in our community still exists. One of the challenges is that the lack of capital. And if you're a black business in Canada, you will know that most financial institutions do not give credit to black businesses. So if you're a black business, it's very difficult for you to get credit. It's very difficult for you to expand. Because why? Because the black business is the hinge between success and failure of any society, the business people. So if you empower the business people, you break the cycle. And this is what most people know. So it's very difficult for you as a black person, if you ever have a business, to get financing. And be careful. They would not tell you no if you apply for a loan or credit. They would not tell you no, but they would not tell you yes neither. They'll string you along for a year, 2 years. 3 years. So we have to know that. Also, the lack of access to investment opportunities. That's another challenge we have in our community. We don't have. There are not enough black business organizations. They're not black. So in the States, there are over 40 black organizations that give access and give loans and funding to black people. However, in Canada, there are about maybe 4 or 5, a few other persons, but the black, the ACB and a few others, and we have to thank them. But we need more access to funding. And one of the challenges we have, obviously, what I mentioned before, is about the procurement. Over 98% of all contracts, procurement contracts from the government of Canada, okay, go to non-Black contractors. So look at that, okay? Non-Black, okay? And then we also have something called institutional partnerships. So we do not partner with other organizations. We also need, as businesses, if you're as a Black person or operate in a Black business, what you need to do, for example, you must have non-Black clients, because you cannot exist.
That's right.
In Canada,
That's fact.
without having, white non-Black clients, whereas 68% of all Black businesses have only Black clients. It will be difficult. So,
Yep.
So a lot of things we have to learn, and that is why a labor market needs assessment is very, very important. We also have to thank Beck for their study. We also have to thank FACE and all the other organizations that try to bring opportunities for Black people.
Okay, I'm going to catch up on a whole bunch of comments in a short period of time. Then we're going to have some other questions. Like I said, we may need to do a part 2 because there's a whole pile of things that I haven't even got a chance to ask you, but this is good when the audience is driving the ship. So the food plane says, starts with parents being leaders. Mignon Cam says, food plane leadership is a skill, and if the parent didn't learn it or develop it, they cannot teach their children. Food plane agrees, exactly, Minnie. Okay, seems that my producers are not keeping up here. Okay, Dr. Tachi says, the food plane, true. Though I'm not sure that some parents know how to lead in this way. They may give children well-meaning advice, like to get to 17 degrees, but it can end up being it can end up not being fruitful. Food plane again says, true, Dr. Tachi. Next up, Mignon Camp says, my career came out of ignoring my parents' advice they gave me to explain. They hated their jobs and I didn't want to live like that, which is a lot of what younger people don't want to be that way. Good morning, the office of Tim Frey. Morning, everyone. Good to have you here, Tim Frey. Dr. Tachi says, Mignon Cam, exactly, which is a good reason in their eyes. My parents thought I should go into medical school or become a scientist. I looked at them like, yeah, well, and my own thing. My dad wanted me to become an accountant. And true story, first semester, I did terrible in accounting and I transferred in that program. Best thing I ever did, because I don't think you could have seen me as an accountant with my personality. Next up, Macmillan Group says, we have to stop sending our kids to university. It doesn't work. We have to advise the needs in society and channel our kids into those directions. The ROI, the return on investment on university, isn't there, especially in the United States too. Mignon Cam says, yes, the programs supports for entrepreneurship from the disability programs lackluster. I had to find entrepreneurs living the success I wanted. Food Plane says, I wish leadership and the mentoring was done by parents. However, what to do if there's not happening for someone. Okay. Mignon Cam says, Dr. Tachi, yes, I thought they thought I would be a lawyer. No, I get ChatGPT to explain my contracts and then hire a lawyer as needed. Food Plane says, yes, we need more mentoring programs. Perhaps the church can get involved as well. Dr. Tachi says, the Food Plane, there are so many groups that assist in the job of mentoring. For example, Delta Sigma Theta, we have 3 groups dedicated to developing youth in STEM, business, and more. Mignon Camp says, Food Plane, the church is not the place for the business mentoring ship. Dr. Tachi says Mignon Camp with a smiley emoji. Then the Macmillan Group says, I don't think it's always a lack of support, Dr. Pierre. I think it's a lack of visibility. Limited funds limits exposure. Many have no website or Google profiles, so you can't find them.
That's true.
That is a good point. And I'll bring up a really quick example. I've mentioned it before in the past. A number of Black nonprofits got a pile of money 5 years ago from the Canadian government to help with Black entrepreneurship. So I reached out to 20 of them. Some of them didn't even have websites.
Yep.
And then of the 20 that I reached out to, and I basically said, hey, congratulations, son, my name is Dr. Vibe, da-da-da. Would you like to come on the show? How many responded, Dr. Pierre?
Maybe less than 5, maybe.
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you remember that in the Black, we did based on the Freedom of Information, we also did a count of how many non-for-profits. I think Black non-for-profits are like maybe around over 1,800. So it's a big business in terms of non-for-profit, and we also want to thank. We do not, one of the challenges we have, for example, within our community, we do not know each other, who we are, and that's why I looked on Buy Black, Mr. Dundas's Roger Dundas's website. They have a directory of Black businesses. I want to commend that. So that is a good start, and we're asking people, to register. We got to know who you are. So we got to know who you are. If you're not heard as a statistician, you will not be counted. You need to be heard and measured. So tell people who you are. Get a website. As I said, I do not, anytime someone speaks to me or talk to me, the first thing I Google them, or I look at the LinkedIn profile.
Well,
you have to
good stuff.
Yeah.
So Minnie on Cam says, Dr. Tachi, I have an issue with the nonprofit charity sector. Food Plane says, in any event, I hear you. Food Plane says, people like TD Jakes, like him, are not. I don't understand this comment. Have not helped many people become business. Are you saying TD Jakes has or has not helped Food Plane? That I'm confused about that. All right, Dr. Tachi says, Food Plane, very true. Not the evangelical super churches that have pastors flying to the pulpit in a helicopter. He says, Food Plane also says, many Black churches in America help with all the type of business programs, and it's helped many people. Okay. Minyan Cam says, Canadian churches don't do that. Wayne Harris says, that is correct, sir. I don't know what you're saying correct to what, but if you want to type, I'll give it the full context. Althea says, I mentor students in psychology and child youth care. Minds Like offers internships to Black students and students of color. One of my students received 100% on an exam based on the information I shared with her. She's at the top of her class. Wonderful. Dr. Taji says, the Macmillan Group Mortgages and Real Estate. Thank you. I don't know for what, but thank you. Wayne Harris says, if you don't meet the standard of receiving credit, you don't get it. Come correct, and you'll receive what you're looking for. Ask him, and he knows. And that's true. He does know. All right. We have caught up to a whole pile of stuff. And folks, just a FYI, when you're putting down your comments, if you put a short comment, it may be a few moments till I read it. So make it as detailed as possible. So I can give it some relevance, because I can read something and the viewers will go, and people watching read it, what are they talking about? So please, just to help out yourselves and help out the audience, whether they're watching live or replay, it would be helpful. Oh man, Dr. Pierre, we need a part 2, because there's a whole pile of things I need to chat.
Because what I find is that I think that last Friday I had a presentation in one of the law faculty had invited me to give a presentation on the same subject, because they know it's new. Okay, because people said, why are we just hearing about these things? Okay, why hadn't the universities done that before? And as I said to them, one, because we have to thank Statistics Canada providing the data to us, And because we are in the field of labor market needs assessment, these kind of analysis we have done for the World Bank in many countries. So we have a little idea of how to do it. And no offense to the universities, but it's not something that the universities will normally do. Most persons are into
their mandate.
And there is no black universities in Canada. So we are black focused, black oriented. We all black people. So our mandate is to support the black population. So we'll do anything as a research firm to support the black organization. And we're asking people to reach out to us, come on our mailing list, and we'll provide this kind of research every month. We produce a report, some issues relating to black people, and information is important. Data is important. Data is key, and just reach out to us, and every month we'll supply you with that kind of information.
Right. Some more conversation piece before we have to close it out. Dr. Tachi says, Dr. Vibe, remember that society has pushed mainstream media as the only media that matters. And so folks approach independent media outlets as not worthy of their time. We change that narrative. Yes, Dr. Tachi does that. I do that. Many other Black content creators do that. Wayne Harris says, other communities sell to everyone. Black business usually only focus on our community. Yes. My business is universal, so is Ray's. We take care of anyone who wants to work with us.
That's it.
The Macmillan Group, the not-for-profit is for profit for many of the creators. Apart from ACBN, I have no contact with any other not-for-profit in almost 3 decades of doing my thing.
Yes,
there you go.
Well, as I said, I want to thank the ACBN that because they're not really more or less quote unquote put us on the Canadian landscape, even though we have done a total about maybe over 370 studies, 40 countries. So we're known worldwide. Everyone knows us. Okay, as I said, we're one of the supplier of choice for the World Bank in doing many of these labor market studies, but no one in Canada knew us. And we had got the BDC to provide some managerial support to us. We reached out to ACBN. We conducted the study. Then there's an organization called FACE, hired us to conduct the research. FACE and another company by the name of the group Transat 3. Okay, they hired us. We did what is called the Black Pension Survey. So people should really read that. It's a very, very interesting survey. How we found out how Black people, how the status of pension and investment, and we as a people, we are very, very, the need for investment, the knowledge of investment is limited in the Black community. Okay, we still have one of the lowest savings to population ratio. We have the lowest investment to population ratio. I think less than 14% of us have stocks or term deposits. I mean, the data is shocking, and that is why we have to reach out. We have to start investment. Guys like Mr. Wayne Harris and other persons and who investment. We have to start investing, buying a stock, buying in investment. We for example, we looked at we have what is called the highest renter to population ratio. But what is important, we looked at what is called mortgages within the Black community. On average, there are about 57% of Black mortgage holders. But when you look at what is called a Black spouse and a Black spouse, husband and wife, Black spouse, 2 Black spouses, the average percentage of mortgage about 27%. But when you remove a Black spouse and replace it with a white spouse, that percentage goes up from 27% to about 54%. So just something as race affect mortgages.
Mm-hmm. All right. Althea says, does DPP Global offer business transformation services? Dr. Pierre is one of the leaders that we can learn from.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm a leader per se, but I mean, I'm a statistician. I produce data. As I said, statisticians are the most controversial people. We are the most hated. People don't like us. However, we yes, we do offer business transformation services. We have different packages, and we have to, because we cannot do it alone as a small firm. Even it is challenging for us because, as I said, it's very difficult for a Black organization to get funded in Canada. So we reach out to investors who have invested in us. We thank them for that. And we also thank organizations like the BDCs to provide support, FACE, Alterna, all these organizations. The Black Opportunity Fund has reached out to us. So we thank everyone for their assistance. But however, we are in the development aid industry. It's a huge industry. It's a $500 billion industry. But we are maybe one or maybe the only really Black organization that is making an impact. However, our competitors are billion-dollar companies. And for us, it is very challenging because, let's say, for example, when we do projects abroad, I think I'd mentioned to you this morning that whenever we do a project, for example, let's say we do a project for $1 million, there's something called a bond is required. A line, which is about maybe 20 to 30%. So imagine you having a project for all excited for $1 million. But before you get that project, you have to come up with $200,000 of your own money. Where would you get that from? Okay. Wow. But these large organizations, they're publicly, yeah. And we have to thank the community for providing their support to us. We are recently the EDC, the Expo Development Corporation, came out to us and said, hey, we can assist. But as I said, we are in an ocean. We are fighting, and we will win. And we asking for the support of Black people because we have to invest because we are richer than we think. The Dr. Vibes. In 2019, there was a company called Environics. They did a study on the total income of Black people. We on total they said about 19 billion, but in terms of recent calculation, it's about $25 billion. So imagine, all of us together, 1.5 million people, we have about $29 billion in total income. So $25 billion. If we save 10% or $600, or we can support 20 Black businesses, 100 Black businesses per year.
Okay. All right. Let's squeeze in these final comments because you got to run. Dr. Tachi says, Wayne Harris, true. However, there are also businesses that we have started to fill in a gap to service us. We can't very well sell Black hair care products to everyone. Wayne Harris says, Dr. Tachi, I hear you, but we can also sell hair care for their hair and bring the money back to the community. They sell to us. We should sell to them. And then he also says he's correct. The Black businesses are more difficult to work with and for smaller deals.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right.
That's good.
On that note, Dr. Pierre, you have to say when you're coming back because there is we haven't even really got into the study yet. There's so many things I want to, but I think I feel that you've enjoyed the conversation.
But yes, it has been worthwhile. As I said, that we're a research firm, and data makes you angry. And we do research that no one think will do. Statistics Canada. We just this week I met with someone from Statistics Canada, and they even admit their study, their website is very hard to navigate on the website. It's very difficult. So that's where we come in. So we take their data and we compartmentalize their data. Black research, discrimination, health, mental, all of we put them in different categories, and so we have like a list of about 200 of the most popular requests from StatScan on the Black population, and we have it in our portal, and our portal is called It's our Black Data and Information Portal. Persons could access it at dpbglobal.net. So we have, our website is dpbglobal.com, but the portal is dpbglobal.net. So, you know, we have a lot of information. We have good technology. We also have what is called a labor market information system, that we can take the information from job posting, from classified ads, etc., put it into one system. And maybe later on, you know, sometime I'll be reaching out to Mr. Dundas to see if, you know, we can incorporate what he has together what we have, and make a system, one system, and also the ACB and the Black Chamber, to make one system that is unique for Black businesses, because we have to collaborate.
Very true. So as we let him go finally, but he has to do a part 2 sooner rather than later, because there's so much more that we have to. But
yeah, people can donate to Black research. We want people to go on our website, make a donation to Black research, because this is where we get the funding. Research is expensive. It comes up from our own pocket, and we do not get funding for the company for that. We ask people, because if the company supports us, if the community supports us, we can do more quality and more in-depth research on any type of a request you have. So tell us what you want the study to be done on, what's your concern, and we will conduct the research for you.
100%.
And I also reach out to some of the students at the York University of Toronto who reach out to us, and we provide assistance to them.
Good stuff. So if you're watching this live on the replay, there's the website dpbglobal.com. That's what it looks like. If you want to get access to the report on the website, you look at my cursor, you click on order report, and you go to this one right here, process or propaganda, a report card on racial reckoning, and you can add to cart, or you can click on, you get some more information of it right there.
Yes.
All right. So that is it. Dr. Pierre, I'm going to reach out to you today because we got to talk more about this report. Like I said, I got a whole pile of conversation about this report.
Yes.
You know, Dr. Tachi says, thank you so much, Dr. Pierre, for this informative session.
Yeah, I want to thank you, the audience, and as I said, and that is what research done. Persons for the last week, since we have completed this research for the last 10 days, persons from the government, from Statistics Canada, from law office, everywhere are saying, you know, this is not. I cannot believe that. How could I thought Black people were poor? How could we be subsidizing?
We're not poor.
Employers' profit?
We're not poor. It's what we spend our money on.
Yes, you know, Scotiabank, no offense to Scotiabank. Scotiabank has an ad called, say, "We richer than we think." So maybe we are richer than we think. All we need is to be united. You know, we ask people to support research. You know, you can go on the website, click, donate, you know, whatever you have. Support research, because if everyone put, you know, $10, $20, $50, whatever, we can get more report, more quality report, and people will have the ammunition now to say, hey, you know, I cannot take this any longer. I've been victimized. You know, what could I do? And you know, we have the opportunity now. If we feel discriminated against, we could litigate, and we collecting data, and a lot of people have been reaching out to us to say, hey, to tell them of their story. We are building up what is called a victims database of all the victims of racial challenges. They tell the story, and you know, and we know listen. People cannot treat us like this anymore. We want persons to say enough is enough. Okay, we have been
a researcher with passion.
Yes, $125 billion in the last 25 years. That's how much we have subsidized the profits.
And look at our ROI.
Yes.
All right. Althea says, thank you both. Thank you, Althea. And Mignon Cam says, my college essay was just to finish my English credit to get some into the business program. I didn't think it would be relevant in the future, so this conversation brought it out. Very nice. And then Food Plane says, interesting conversation. Until next time, Dr. Vibe, Dr. Tachi, Dr. Pierre, and Minnie. All right.
Thank you.
Dr. Pierre, thank you so much for your time. As always, here to serve. And I will be reaching out to you in the next 24 hours to book you for part 2 so we can maybe talk about the study. But who knows? Maybe the audience will take over again, which is not a bad thing. But because it shows there's interest there.
There is lots of interest. As I said, people that are angry. People said, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this.
It's not surprising information to me.
Okay.
So one last thing that I want to, so based on this study and information, what do you feel is the next best step?
Okay, then. Well, for example, a lot of legal law firms have reached out to me, so that the people because discrimination is illegal in Canada. It's illegal. You cannot do that. So we're going through the records, because we have the record, the 42 industries, and we are now, we are now in the process of getting the victim statement, people who feel they're discriminated against. So we're calling the persons to reach out to us, people who feel that they have been discriminated against based on the race, reach out to us, tell us their story, and then we will now take it to the next step. We do not know what will be the outcome, but I think that other organizations have reached out to us. We've been having conversation with various entities to kind of remedy this situation. However, it is good, because for the first time, we have been able to look at the data. Okay, we look at the data from StatsCan, look at the categories, look at the data, and see for ourselves that something we knew all along. It's like as according to Oprah, it's like an aha moment. We have been the first time we really looked to see the data, because what has been happening? They tell us, hey, you have been this, I don't feel right. I've been discriminated against. Where's the data? What proof you have? It's all in your mind. It's no more. We have the data to prove it.
All right. And
we will use that data to the full extent.
Love that. Get a picture with Dr. Pierre, like his hand like that. Have some data in one hand and his hand that. Yeah. There you go.
I got it to a friend of mine, he said, Dr. Pierre, you are like the data dawn. I've never heard someone who could the stats like you. But I said, it's our industry. I read Statistics Canada reports maybe on a daily basis. I mean, we read all, because it's a part of our industry. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not into law enforcement. I don't know anything about healthcare. But what I know is about statistics, data, labor market, and I make it my study. And because I'm a consultant, I should know. I do not want anyone to know more than myself in that industry. So
data
I try to read as much as possible.
Data is your jam. All right. The Data Don. That's his new title. The Data Don. Data Don, as always, thank you for your time. As always, don't manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. Take care. All right, everybody, that is it. Wow, we could have went on forever. And family, you drove that conversation. You should see, I got a page or two of questions I wanted to ask. Hey, it's all about you guys. As long as you stay in the lane, we're all good. So that is that. All right, so let's do some things before we kick it out for the day. Please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We are finally past 1,670 subscribers. Yay. So let's next go for 1,680 subscribers. Also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group on Discord. DR period VIBE at the DR VIBESHOW.com. Then advertise your business product or service on any of the platforms that I appear on. That's better. DR period VIBE at the DR VIBESHOW.com. And you can watch replays of the Morning Vibe at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And also ACBN Business, that's Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook, and Ryan O'Neill Knight on YouTube. Oh yeah, we have to get the contact information. Yes. All right. Thank you, producer. This is why it's great to have a producer. Cover the blind spots. So if you want to get a hold of Ryan, website Ryan O'Neill Knight, and that's KNIGHT.com. LinkedIn, Ryan O'Neill Knight. Instagram at Ryan.Knight99. Email address, work with me at RyanO'NeillKnight.com. If you want to get in touch with me, if you do, first place, there's a website, the drvibeshow.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show, X at drvibeshow, and email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. You can also catch me at Blue Sky at drvibe at bsky.social. That is it. We are done. Coming up on Monday, I think it's going to be an open mic Monday. So whatever you want to chat about on Monday, it's Family Day in the province of Ontario, which is a provincial holiday, but we will be broadcasting live. Thank you very much. So anything you want to chat about, because I don't think we have a scheduled friend coming up on Monday. So anything you want to chat about on Monday, as long as it's respectful, we are open to have that conversation. This is how we finish off. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Oh gosh, Dr. Tati says Monday is a free-for-all. Yes, it is. Monday is a free-for-all. So I'll just, the end part of my exit, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. We'll see you. Be well. Keep the faith. Take care.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
Oh my gosh.
Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.